In this video, we're going to change things up a little bit, and I want to actually help you understand why government contracting is so valuable to your small business. And I figured to just show you an illustration of what it looks like to win government contracts versus not winning government contracts. So, the first thing that you need to keep in consideration, you've been in business for some time, right? And without government contracts, you probably see a little bit of instability. Maybe you have a little bit of growth in the beginning of the year, and then it kind of just drops a little bit down. And then, throughout it kind of bumps up again, and then it comes down again and again, and it comes down again. And by the end of quarter 4, maybe you have a little bit of a peak, but shortly after that, during the holidays, it drops down. And so, wherever your baseline is, and this is the baseline here, whatever your baseline is, maybe it's 100K, maybe it's 100 million, whatever it is, it's like it's very hard to build it and be sustainable without feeding it consistently. So feeding it in terms of ads, there's also like speaking events and promotions. So you're basically having to be on the road constantly promoting your business and doing ads to elevate to another standard. Or you can raise rates. So you can raise your prices and work on getting to the next marker of your financial revenue goal. That is challenging, especially when you've honed in on one specific market because all of your messaging speaks to one market. And here's the thing. So that's what it looks like at a day-to-day for any client any client of mine that is just doing that is not doing government contracts yet. But for those that are, yes, there is that instability that occurs. But what happens is, and I'll change it to blue, and I'll take off the highlights here. So what happens is that actually government contracts will start here. Okay, it'll start to stabilize, and it might not seem like a lot, right? You're just like, oh, well, that's incremental, but it's stable, meaning that your baseline now can move up to this point. Now you have a new baseline. Now that's just one contract. And then you're going to add another contract and another contract and another contract and another contract. And now the baseline that used to be down there is now here. So all of this here that used to exist is now up here. Now your baseline is here. And now you can withstand the volatility that occur in your business throughout time, but it's based on government contracts. So government contracts is your way to stabilize your business versus not having stability. So let me give you an example in real time what this looks like. There's holidays, right? So you might have a holiday program or a promo. You might have a launch program, you're launching, like your marketing launch for your offer. You have an open and then you have a close card. You have a specific sequence, and then it cools down again. So it's hot and then it cools down, right? But the thing is that this is without government contracts. With government contracts, you can still do this. Like, this is okay because that's normal business. But with government contracts, there is no cool down. They're always buying what you're selling. There are contracts being issued out every single month for services in all areas of business: consulting, coaching, IT, graphic design, website design, social media, even just like things that you would not consider. I would say a lot of boring businesses actually do really well in government contracting. So you have no cool down. So there's a steady rhythm, a steady flow of business coming in to your business. So like you're making money constantly. And then sure, there are people who say, well, they don't pay. They don't pay. Like, it's going to take you a long time to pay. Really? If you consider that you have this, let's say that this is what it looks like on a regular basis for your business. This is the cooldown here that is between all of your campaigns. So every time you get a dip, it's because you're not spending money on ads and you're not promoting your business. And you're okay with that because you're like, you know what? I worked really hard. I burned through it. And then I cool down after that, right? Like I just need a break. I need to take a vacation with my family. I need to do something else other than marketing my business. Well, here's what government contracting does. So you don't have to go from this up and down, up and done, up and down cycle. You're actually just stabilizing what already exists. So you're stabilizing your business with contracts. And so all of this up and down is not as infected or impacting your revenue growth because you have stability. You've got contracts that you're delivering, your clients and your customers are happy because they have something that they're producing, they're increasing efficiency. Like government contracts helps you increase efficiency. It increases time, sales, stability, like financial stability. I mean, over and over again. So you're getting all of this by just winning government contracts. Does this change your business in any way? Yes, it changes it for the better. Does it change your operations? No, because you're still delivering on the same thing that you would deliver to your current clients now. So how do we do that? How do we go from understanding what government contracting can do for our business to actually winning government contracts? Well, here's what it happens. Once you know what you can deliver, so specifically, what can you deliver? What are the services that your business can deliver? This is based off your experience right now. So if you say like, I don't have any experience working with the government, totally cool. Just use the experience that you got. Like, that's great. That's more than most people have. And so this is going to make you look like and appear like an authority in front of the government because you're ahead of the game for most people. You're keeping your nose at the grind. You're paying attention to the tempo. You're the visionary that's like out looking for the next tidal wave that's coming into shore. You are paying attention to things that they don't pay attention to, which increases your authority. Then the next thing is like, once you figure out what you can deliver, then it's how much can you deliver? What does this mean? Well, this means that you might be really good at the thing you do, but do you want to be someone who is reliant to deliver the thing? You're the CEO. Why should you be the CEO and the production team and the person that's delivering? Unless you're doing a speaking event or doing a coaching or consulting event where you're going in yourself and delivering this, I would say that you could probably delegate the majority of the scope of work. So a scope of work is what you're delivering to the government, to delegate the majority of the scope of work to either a team or a subcontractor. Either way, get it off your plate because when there's volatility like this actually impacts the way that you show up as a CEO. So instead of focusing so much heavily on the stability of government contracts, you could say focus on how do we improve this up and down so there's not so much of it, right? Maybe there's a little bit of an up and then it goes down and then it goes up and then it like kind of starts to stabilize because you start improving your systems and processes. Then the third thing that you'll want to do after you've done the two, what can you deliver and how much can you deliver, is when can you deliver? This is about workload. So if you do decide to delegate or to bring on a subcontractor on your team, keep in mind that they have their own timeline. They're on their own business. So you want to negotiate what that timeline, what the availability is, so that you could propose that in the proposal. Otherwise, if you're just assuming that they'll be available, that's not a good way to start a relationship with any client, regardless if they're government or not. So we want to be really thoughtful about how we're positioning our business. So we're talking about like what's our availability. Looking at this, we can start planning ahead. You've already created some plans for maybe your campaigns for this year. You have an idea of like, okay, well, maybe there is this January campaign, this is an April campaign, this is a July campaign, this is maybe a September and a December campaign, right? And so because you know exactly what those campaigns are, then you can consider that workload during this time is lower, right? Lower time, like workload. You got to fill in the spots to keep your team busy, to keep more growth happening around the business, right? So when can you deliver? What are those seasons? That potentially could be the start of contracts. That could be where you do your hiring, right? So like right before the peak, you do a hiring, right? Or right after the peak is when you do SOPs. So there's different strategies that you can start to create, because now you know that the baseline of all of your resources, expenses, your overhead has been associated with government contracting, and anything else is additional value that you're delivering out to the marketplace and getting a return of revenue. And then the last question to ask yourself is, what's my position? So what's my position mean? What's my position means that you know whether or not you're going to be a prime, a subcontractor, or a JV or a middleman on any contract, right? And it's not going to be, I would personally recommend, based off my experience in helping clients submit so many proposals, I recommend that you find out based off your NAICS code, so your NAICS, your NAICS code, what contracts are available to you. Doesn't matter if they're not in the state where you reside or not, because that's a whole different conversation. But find out all of the contracts that are associated with your NAICS code, and then you can start drilling down by scope of work. Find something that is in your niche, like what you can actually deliver within that scope. And then you can decide, okay, so for this contract will be prime, for this will be a subcontractor, for this will be a JV, and start building relationships with other contractors in that space. See, in government contracting, everybody wins. So it's better that you build relationships than you deter from competition, because you never know. I've seen this over and over again. The biggest brands are JVing or partnering up with each other to win a government contract. And it's a win-win and win. It's a perfect package solution for the client. And the client is happy because they figured out how to do two steps in one. Okay. So those are the 4 questions that I would recommend that you ask. Now, what I would say here is that you probably have a lot of questions, right? You probably have a lot of questions, whether or not you want to get into government contracting, how to start, what do I do first? What's the first, second, third step that I need to really start doing now so that I can get into government contracting? Don't worry, I'm going to cover all of that in my upcoming webinar, GovCon Millions Masterclass. And this is where I'm going to break it down significantly for you to get really crystal clear on just answering all the questions that you have about government contracting. Now, if you upgrade to the VIP room, basically what that is like, it's a coaching call at a very discounted price. I currently charge 5 figures for a coaching call. So to get it for, I want to say it's like less than $100 right now. It's like a steal, and you get a customized approach for your business. So it's an additional hour of time, and you really walk away with a plan. I don't know about you, but like trying to pay attention and like consume information, and then you walk away and you're like, okay, now I got to figure out how it works for me. That is what VIP is. It's your way of getting a customized plan for winning government contracting. And then the additional 4-hour general admission masterclass is walking us through the strategy, step-by-step strategy, really simple, just making government contracting super duper simple so that you can do it and apply it to your business no matter where you are in business, whether you're starting out, scaling, or you are just sustaining and really building out operation systems. So click the link down below to register for free and upgrade to VIP, and I'll see you in the masterclass.